Welcome to the Sonya Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Great day, everyone. It is time for the Sonya Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Listen, we have a great show for you today. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a little twist to it. But first, let me give you the title. It's called This Word is Practiced Often. I had the opportunity to watch a movie again. I've watched it on many occasions, but as I was zooming through my movie channels, I stumbled across the movie Solomon. And I love the movie Solomon because it gives so many different Pictionary details about the story of Solomon. But let me just give you a little synopsis of the story. In the story of Solomon, Solomon was supposed to have been the successor of King David, but his brother Adonijah believed, he was the firstborn, believed that he was the appointed king. As we know that Solomon was the chosen son to be the appointed king over Israel. But Adonijah tried to overthrow the position, and as king, he was going to appoint himself as king. And there was someone that ran from the crowd and went to King David's wife, Bathsheba, and Bathsheba went to David and says, "David, did you not say that my son Solomon would be the next king?" And he says, "Yes." So they began to appoint Solomon out of an emergency situation because Adonijah was overthrowing his position at that present time. And King David was ill, so he had to get up and dress him and place him on his donkey as the king before Adonijah overthrow that position. And what really just grabbed my attention is that if no one will inform Bathsheba that the position was about to be overthrown, Adonijah would have had the position because of the principles back in the day, okay? And that was one of the things that I noticed. Now, I've watched this movie on several occasions, but I was pinpointing several things here. And then as King David appointed Solomon as king before Adonijah was appointed by the people, self-appointed, King Solomon was talking about treason. It's that word treason that really piqued my interest. And I said, treason? I said, I haven't heard this word in a long time. Back in the 90s, people would use the word treason. It is a form of overthrowing several things. I looked up the word treason, and it stated that treason can be government being overthrown, person or thing could be overthrown. This is a type of treason. And I thought about it when it says government can be overthrown. And I said, well, there's several different governments. You have world governments, you have state governments, you have country governments. I said that's when someone can go and overthrow this position, right? And I said, wow, this is really interesting. So I decided to go a little bit more deeper with the word treason. And it says the synonyms for treason could be backstabbing, betrayal, business. I started laughing when it said business. Disloyalty, double cross, faithlessness, falseness, falsity, infidelity, sellout, treachery, two-timing, unfaithfulness. And I said all these things under treason. And I said this word is not only about overthrowing someone in government, overthrowing someone in their position, overthrowing a person or a thing. It's also about the behavior of it, backstabbing, betrayal, all under treason. It's a synonym. And disloyalty. And I said, I'm not going to say just we, but this word is being practiced in so many different occasions And we're not even aware of the terminology, the full concept of what treason is. We look at the really vast of what treason is as being overthrown government, but never thinking about the positions that has been overthrown. And I thought about the story, and I was thinking about Adonijah would have been king if someone would not have left the crowd and ran to Bathsheba, the wife of King David. He would have been in position. Had not, they had to hurry up and put him in a position who's supposed to have been ruling and reigning as king. And I thought about so many people who are in position of treason that's probably doing things that a person was unaware that they should be, and they just going on and on and on and on, thinking about being in that position, but the position has been already snatched by the unawareness of what is happening. The unawareness of what is happening is the backstabbing behind closed doors, the betrayal behind closed doors, disloyalty behind closed doors, double cross, and faithlessness. And let's talk about the word faithlessness in the believer's culture. Faithlessness is part of treason. When we don't have faith, we're just not believing. That's part of treason. You know, I'm not going to let anybody out of this situation, because we're all affected if we're not even aware of what this word means. It's a derogatory word. Treason is a derogatory word, and it can affect you in so many negative ways. I will never forget the passage that says, "My people perish for the lack of knowledge." And, you know, that right there, that cut me like a cord in the 80s when I heard that word. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. And I was walking around here, so I can't be in the lack of knowledge. I'm going to try not to be. But being affected in a negative way or having something overthrown, treason in your personal life, because these things are happening in the back end doors, you know, selling out. How many times we hear in movies people say, he sold me out? It's part of treason. Falsity, falsehood, where you're not honest about what you're doing, and behind closed doors, falsehood. That's part of treason. Two-timing. Unfaithfulness. That's that word unfaithfulness again, that relates to the Christian, relates to religion. Let me just say that, because religion is like across the board. So many different religion, you know, can be affected by faithfulness, unfaithfulness, and also faithlessness. When we talk about the kingdom of God, it's totally different. Kingdom of God, you are definitely under one headship, and that is the Father, you know. But I sat there and I said, we are all affected by this word treason, but not understanding the in-depth of the characteristics of it and also the behavior of it. Can you imagine just not even knowing that, and you wonder what happened? How did this happen? How did the destruction happen? Because behind closed doors, the characteristics or the behavior from being overthrown, you can't overthrow something unless you are practicing the synonyms. Let's go through the synonyms again. Backstabbing, betrayal, business, disloyalty, double cross, faithlessness, falsehood, falsity, infidelity, sellout, treachery, two-timing, unfaithfulness. Oh my goodness. I mean, you guys, I'm just bringing this before you because maybe something happened and you don't know why it happened. Maybe this will trigger and say, well, maybe this is why something happened behind closed doors, or why something was overthrown. While I know in your heart, you know you're supposed to be doing this. You know this. And you're thinking, how did I not do this? Why is that? This is why. It's treasury. And I'm saying, how many people are affected? Now, I will say this. The outcome of itself will be as King Solomon in position as he was supposed to be in position. But how many times you go through struggles and having to fight to take something back because you were overthrown, or a system was overthrown, a business was overthrown, or something was overthrown, and you knew that you had to fight to get something back. Treachery was definitely part of that situation. According to what the knowledge base here, as I was researching, and I was sitting there looking at the movie Solomon and how his brother Adonijah was trying to overthrow. He just knew. And to give you an understanding what happened in the story of Solomon, his brother tried to overthrow him again. And let me give you a prime example. King David was dying. He had a sickness. And there was this young lady, I can't remember her name, but I can't remember her name. But she would practice herbs, to heal people. Well, that woman was the last woman that was with King David. And if you understand the positions back in the day, you know that whoever takes the wife or takes a woman that has been part of the king, and if they marry, if she would have married the brother, because he did request for her, then he could take the kingship. It's about order. You guys have to just really look at these stories and just understand the concept, because the concepts in these stories is the concepts that we live by every day. And it's all in the root cause of being treason practiced. But there was a story where the young lady that was trying to heal King David was now in the position like a type of wife, but she wasn't. Well, the brother went to the king and asked for her in marriage. And King Solomon caught it very quickly, because he was trying to overthrow that position and take kingship. Well, King Solomon in the movie also in the story, had his brother Adonijah killed because he no longer could be trusted without having to go through that turmoil of him trying to overthrow his position. So he had his brother killed, and so he would not have to deal with that anymore. Of course, we're not going to do that in these days and time. But I mean, if you really think about it, as someone who's really just in their mind thinking that this position is mine, and it's not. And because in your heart, it was revealed because David got the news from the Lord, from the Father, that King Solomon would be the king of Israel. So that was confirmed already. But the brother, because he thinking I'm the oldest son, should receive that position. There's so many different intricate details in the story, but I really wanted to zoom in on that word treason and how it is affecting us every single day. How, of course, we see it in the news where things are being overthrown because of the back end of underhanded stuff that's being revealed was a part of treason. Can you imagine? I kept trying to understand, how is it that all this stuff is being unveiled? It's part of treason, overthrowing things. Overthrowing things is an understatement. But I just wanted to just bring some enlightenment, not to make judgment call, but I just wanted to bring this information about treason, how it does affect us every single day. And again, I know I keep going over the synonyms, but you guys look up the word and just research on the word treason and how is it affecting your decisions? Because treason is not something that is a good thing to do. Again, treason, the practice of it is backstabbing, betrayal, business, disloyalty, double cross, faithlessness, Christianity and religion, faithlessness. Okay? Falseness, falsity, infidelity. Okay? Sellout. How many times have you sold out somebody, I don't know, because I don't sell out anybody. Treachery, two-timing, unfaithfulness. These are the practices behind closed doors in your mind. How do you, I'm talking about treachery against you trying to overthrow something. We're not talking about your individual world and your life that you're trying to get to something that I'm talking about if it's affecting something else that is owned by somebody else or owned in another position. Because when you look at it, treachery is also overthrowing a person, overthrowing a thing. In this case with Solomon and his brother Adonijah, and Adonijah was trying to overthrow the person of Solomon and also overthrowing the thing of being in a position of king. Okay? There's so many different ways you can look at this word treachery. And I remember back in the 90s how that word came up because something was going on in society. The news was reporting treachery. And I knew that word was a terrible word. It was like, oh my goodness, that's a horrible word. Treason. They talked about treason a lot in the government practice in the 90s. That's why I knew that word treason when Solomon said it in the movie, treason. And it just alerted me to research it and bring that word and just clarify it and talk about that word to you all on this show. I want you to really think about that. I mean, treason. That is a scary word. That is something that you not even want to be a part of, especially when you are the one that's doing the treason. And it's terrible if it's being done to you. But either way, either position, the awareness of the word treason, it is very important that I wanted to bring out into the atmosphere. Okay, you guys. But that's all I wanted to talk about in our show today. And I hope you think really about this situation, and also, just meditate on what that word. Have I been affected by it, or am I the one who's affecting? And but again, today our title is "This Word is Practiced Often." Okay. But that's all I wanted to talk to you all about today. I want you all to have a great week. And thank you for joining us, the Sonya Buchanan Show. This is your girl, Sonya Buchanan, with the Sonya Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. You guys have a great week.
Oh my God, I gotta tell you, I was having a moment and I decided to surf the net. And that's when I came across this website called Comforting Promises, which is a great website, by the way. And get this, on the website was a featured book called The Journey by Sonya Buchanan that was recently published. So I immediately downloaded the ebook on Kindle because it talked about, having faith for your life purpose. And let me tell you, the book is super great. I was so motivated to get back into the game, pursuing my goals. And you got to get the book because it's worth the read.
Thank you for joining our podcast today. The podcast was produced and edited by Sonya Buchanan. For more information about the host, you can go to sonyabuchanan.com. For information about Comforting Promises broadcast community, you can go to comfortingpromises.com.